Hey everyone, let's look at Alibaba. Active stock these days, headlines, some self-inflicted wounds from Jack Ma. Even though he's not actively running the company, he brought the wrath of the government, Chinese government, onto them. Ant Financial, the largest IPO that was supposed to happen, I think, in Hong Kong, got canceled, and they own about a third of it, so billions of dollars, poof, gone. They canceled it indefinitely as punishment, or so it would seem, to whatever he said. So here we go. Technically speaking, headlines aside, I was long BABA. I am long BABA. Disclosure. I sold put spreads and bought some call spreads. The put spreads completely won, so the call spreads are by definition also green because the cost basis is a lot lower. I was a lot more profitable on Friday, but I was traveling for Thanksgiving, so I didn't pay attention to trading and I didn't book it. So I'm still long it. And where we stand, this is a daily chart, nothing fancy. And my impression is that it will have resistance at 280. I knew that. There is a big gap here. It usually is difficult to eat into the gap, but once they start it, it's easier to run through it, kind of like what Intel did for a while. Only this one moves a little better than Intel. What makes the problem a little bit bigger is that it's also a level that means something for Alibaba. Like 285 was a place where they tried to stand with a big doji and it didn't happen. And it was also a pivot level on the way up. So it's got history. It shouldn't be butter. But the idea is to anticipate what could happen. And the scenario is, of course, speculative. I'm just speculating as to what could happen. So we're falling, right? We should find support where we have found support. And if that's the case, we should meander back up to 280 and test it again, where I also think we'll find more resistance. If by any chance they go above it, then they'll get the chance to test it for footing and then fill the gap. Wonky cup handle, I guess you would want to say. So 300 will be the next battle place, and it will be a fantastic battle as previously advertised. So if long, I'm staying long to see what happened in this zone. Markets would help if the markets stabilize in general. This one in particular shouldn't fall. Don't know if they said something today. I scoured people like to say, what happened? So it's down 4%, whatever it is today. Perhaps I did read some headline on Reuters that the U.S. is adding companies to the watch out list in the US or something like that. It doesn't pertain to BABA. It's stuff for like the Luckin coffees, remember? So looking at the level, if I zoom out and I'm looking at the level where it is right now, just look left. It's been in contention. It should hold, okay, with a little bit of buffer below. Let me see the lines that I have on it. So these are my lines. Support clearly failed. I did not update them. Proof that I did not update them or practice this video. Support clearly failed. So whatever was support will be resistance. So I just shared two levels of resistance, and there they are. A big support zone, and they're fighting for it right now. The put spreads that I sold were down here, so they played out well. The call spreads were 280, 290, or 300 in that range. It was a $10 wide spread out in time to next year. So I do have time and be patient with it. I just want them to revert closer to 300. I'm not dreaming about spikes to the moon. I'm not holding naked calls. I would renew the sold puts or put spreads. I'm comfortable with that. In fact, look, I can move this guy. So way back in September, I drew this when it was tight as far as range. I said we have two potential scenarios. The upside one played out. I didn't know what was going to play out, but I knew the outcomes. And look at this versus this. And this was like 2 months later. So my estimate where did we fall to and they find footing was clear from back in September, before September 25th at some time. I don't know when I drew this, but usually I stop right after current price. So there's not a lot of guessing with the levels. Machines are doing the trading, and they're kind of predictable that way. The bulls overall have been in charge of the market, so I think this one will eventually find footing. These are my opinions. They're not recommendations to do anything with that stock. I don't know the future, and I'm just sharing what I see on the charts. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to this channel. It's free. If you want to join the chat room where we do this all day, every day, night or day, there's a link down in the description. You have a free trial for that. The transaction goes to PayPal, but there's $0. You can try it out for 10 days.